You're going to make these waffles with oatmeal, like the stuff that's sitting in your pantry right now. There's no flour, no gluten-free blends, no mixing different flours together, just regular GF oats that we're gonna whiz up into oat flour, and it makes the fluffiest, lightest waffles ever with one bonus trick. Let's make them. So you can make these waffles with just like oat flour that you buy, but I never do that because I have a blender and I always make my own oat flour first. I have 2 cups of gluten-free rolled oats, which is 206 grams. Once I put that in the blender and blend it up, it's still gonna be 206 grams. Before I begin the recipe, we're just gonna do that really quick. It takes like 30 seconds and it's way cheaper than buying oat flour. So once you blend it, it should be really fine looking. And the more powerful your blender is, the better oat flour you'll have. I've ground the oat flour in a food processor as well, which also works, but it will not get as fine as this. So you'll just have more of a rustic texture for your waffles. So you could blend these all up in the blender, just put all the ingredients in there, but I find mixing it together in the bowl is easier because when we're distributing the batter to the waffle iron, I just like working from a bowl versus working from a blender. So let's start with the wet ingredients. I have 1 cup of milk, which is 245 grams. Now, if you need this to be a dairy-free recipe as well, you can use non-dairy milk. For my sweetener, I'm just using 2 tablespoons of pure maple syrup. I've done honey in this. You can do brown sugar or sugar, coconut sugar, date sugar, or you can leave it out too if you don't want any sugar in it. I have 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract, and this is just for flavor. To help bind the waffles, 2 large eggs. If you need an egg-free recipe, you can do a mashed banana. You could do 1/4 cup of unsweetened applesauce. It will just be a little bit more crumbly because you won't have that binding agent in it. Or you could use an egg replacer too, like a flaxseed egg or Bob's Red Mill egg replacer. So I'm gonna whisk this together first, and then I will add in our melted and cooled butter. If you are doing a dairy-free recipe, you can use melted coconut oil as well. I just like using butter if you can use it because it helps with flavor, and then it also makes a little bit of like crispier edges while you're cooking it. When you're whisking together the wet ingredients, just make sure you have a large enough bowl because we're gonna add the oat flour in here as well, where we're gonna mix it all together in this bowl. And then once that's combined, I'm gonna add in my melted and cooled butter. All right, and then we're ready to add our oat flour in. So our 2 cups of oat flour. And then I have 2 teaspoons of baking powder, just for rise, 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon, and then 1/4 teaspoon of salt. After you mix this together, the batter is going to be pretty thin. So that's totally fine because oats absorb a ton of moisture. I'm just gonna sit the batter aside for 10 minutes while I preheat my waffle iron. And this just gives the oats a chance to soak up that moisture and build up the structure of the waffle. Otherwise, you'll notice that your waffles will be kind of dense at first, and then as you cook them, they'll get better and better. But there's like a sweet spot of how long you want the batter to sit. The longer it sits, it's just gonna keep soaking up that moisture. So don't let it sit for more than 15 minutes. I would shoot for about 10 because it's probably gonna take about 10 minutes to make your waffles too. All right, so we're ready to cook, and you'll see our batter's a little bit thicker now that it's sat. So I have my waffle iron that I sprayed with nonstick cooking spray. For my iron, I'm using about 3/4 of a cup of batter. But what you're looking for, so you wanna just judge on your waffle iron, is when you pour the batter in, you want it to fill out about 80% of the way, and then it'll spread out some more while you're cooking it. So I'm just gonna spread this a little bit and then just close and let it cook. All right, so right now my kitchen smells amazing. I cannot wait to dig into these. I have so much syrup. Oh my gosh. The oats give these waffles the best taste. It leaves you more satiated than regular waffles because the oats just have like this hearty, kind of slightly nutty texture. My kids love these. I mean, my kids don't even have to eat gluten-free, but they prefer these over the regular waffles. It's a great, easy recipe to make for a mixed diet crowd. Sometimes I will make these ahead of time and I will just cool them completely, wrap them up and freeze, and then when you're ready to enjoy them, you can put them on a baking sheet and slightly rewarm them in the oven. The other thing is if you want them to stay warm while you're making them, I'll put a baking sheet in a 200-degree oven and I'll pop them in there while I'm cooking them. And then when you're ready to serve, voila, warm magic waffles. Thank you for watching. You can find the full printable recipe in the description below, and I will see you in the next video.